Coach, usually you guys get to do the scrimmage in LaVelle Edwards Stadium, and now you're in the old Provo High School. What was the atmosphere like today?
I really liked it. I just thought, you know, the fans are right above us. They're close to us. You know, it was a lot more full. And so I thought it was a really good atmosphere. The players fed off of the energy. I think it was a pretty good deal. I wouldn't mind doing it again. I mean, there's something special about playing in LaVelle Edwards Stadium. A lot of these guys don't even get a chance to as players. You know, there's sometimes after spring, there's always those handful of players that aren't going to be able to join us in the future, or at least the upcoming fall. And so that's the good part of being in LaVelle Edwards Stadium. It's classic. You can feel the history there. But this was a really cool change up just to be able to, I think, just for the fan interaction.
Yeah. Did it feel like you were back in high school a little bit?
It did. Yeah. It's just I wish the lights were on. I wish we did at night. That would have really made it feel like it. So.
That's right. So most of your wide receivers, you have a few guys banged up here and there. Most of them are healthy for the most part. How would you evaluate how they did in today's scrimmage?
I'm really happy with how they played. We started off really flat just as a whole offense. And we needed guys to step up and make some plays, and they did that, and they responded. I saw guys giving really, really high effort, fighting, making plays. It was real positive. And so we'll obviously see film, and I'll see how they did that on a consistent basis, but just at first glance, really happy with how they played. There
were some young guys that got in that we haven't even really heard their names very much. Of those young guys that we're first seeing, who stood out to you today?
Tevita Ika, Talmadge Gunther, some of those guys who just were tryout guys or preferred walk-ons. Did a good job, and that's kind of what the message was today to that group. I have about five guys who are going right now who are veterans, and then there's another 11 after them who are kind of battling for maybe a fall camp spot or to try to get into that rotation. And so the challenge was just to see who could step up and make plays. Happy with how that whole second group did, and same thing after film. We'll kind of see who's narrowing that gap.
You mentioned that you have some veteran guys. Who do you feel like just in all of spring is emerging as the leader of the wide receiver group?
I was asked that yesterday, and this isn't cliche. Like, all 5 of those guys have done phenomenal in every aspect in terms of their leadership, making plays, consistency. You know, last year I was pretty vocal about Micah Simon stepping up and kind of being the leader and the alpha, and that kind of happened naturally just because he's got that personality. He's charismatic and is always good at you know, leading those guys. But as we've all gotten to know each other, and they've gotten to know me, and I've seen their skill sets, they've all just emerged in their own way as leaders. And so I genuinely mean all 5 of them have all stepped up. They're taking the young guys under their wing. They're all being vocal, really happy. And that, to me, that's been the biggest takeaway for me this spring. And what I'm most happy to see is how there's no more just one or two guys. They're all taking the lead.
I'm sure that's really nice to see as a coach. And one of the guys that has stood out during spring ball is Gunnar Romney, and this is his very first spring because he was banged up last year. What changes have you seen in him since he's been able to have all of spring to be with the offense?
I think the biggest thing is physically he's just stronger. When he came in the fall, he was fresh out of high school. You get thrown into a weight program, and it was a little bit late, and so he had some tweaks lingering from his senior year in high school, and he was just never able to fully heal. Well, now he's put on some weight and put on some mass. He's playing with a new level of confidence because he feels it. He feels it in his body. It's not broken down, and I think what we've seen this spring is just a glimpse of what he can do for us in the fall. So I'm really happy to see him healthy and playing the way he is.
Your veteran guys obviously got used to having Zach Wilson at the helm